Thank you for joining us on the program today, everyone. Yesterday, we began a national conversation following fresh claims by Reverend Ezekiel Dachomo, alleging what he calls an ongoing genocide against Christians in Plateau State. He said he's tired of burying people daily and accused the army of complicity in the killings. That conversation drew strong reactions, and now new developments have emerged. While the army says his claims are false and dangerous, accusing him of spreading propaganda meant to stir hate and panic. Just recently, troops reportedly recovered a cache of arms and ammunition in Barkin-Ladi, reigniting questions about who is arming these groups and how deeply these weapons networks run. At the same time, a visiting special advisor to U.S. President Donald Trump dismissed the claims of Christian genocide in Nigeria, insisting the crisis was more complex than a faith-based conflict, a position that directly contradicts what church leaders like Prophet Isa El-Buba and Reverend Dachomo have maintained in recent days. So tonight, we go beyond the headlines to examine what's really happening on the plateau. What are the facts, the fears, and the failures of trust? Let's bring in retired Brigadier General John Temlong, who is a decorated security strategist, one-time governorship candidate in Plateau, and former commander under the United Nations mission in Sudan. Brigadier General, thank you for joining us on Beyond the Headlines.
Thank you very much. I wasn't a commander in Sudan, but I was the pioneer commander of the multinational joint task force.
Oh, awesome. Apologies for that mix-up. Let's start with what's new here. This latest discovery of arms and ammunition by the military in Barkin-Ladi. From your experience, what does such a recovery tell us about the scale, magnitude, and organization of armed groups on the plateau?
Well, thank you very much. I think it goes beyond the plateau. It tells you the magnitude of the proliferation of small arms and light weapons in the country. It is a whole criminal economy that is going on in the country, where you have arms and ammunition are being traded, being made available to criminals who terrorize law-abiding citizens at will with them. One thing we must distinguish is that criminality has no religion, it has no tribe, and it has no sect or any other thing. Those who are involved in this criminal enterprise, you find out that here on the plateau, those who are arrested sometimes are either Christians or Muslims, or they are either indigenous people here, or they are Fulanis, or there are even people from the southern part of this country. And those things, they have their links. They trade sometimes from the north to this place, or sometimes from the south to this place. And sometimes you have heard them that those who have been arrested taking arms to bandits in the northwest. And who are they? Sometimes they are Christians, sometimes they are not Christians. So criminality has no religion, it has no tribe. It's a whole criminal enterprise that is going on. But it's very worrisome that in one place you can get up to about 1,190 rounds of ammunition in that place, and that can create a lot of havoc in the place. You have the AK-47, there were about 2 there, and the G3 rifle. So these are quite frightening that we should look at, and it goes beyond we pointing fingers at one another, but it needs a concerted effort. It needs synergy for us to be able to fish out these people who are living within us, by the way.
And we're going to get there to identify precisely, Brigadier General, what we must do. But when you say criminality has no religion, are you specifically reacting to Reverend Dachomo's position, who has christened this a Christian genocide, even calling on the U.S. president to intervene?
No, I'm not reacting to Reverend Dachomo, but Reverend Dachomo, unfortunately, I know him very well, but unfortunately, sometimes we react in a way that doesn't even portray probably what is on ground, because it depends on what story you have had. If you have two sides of the coins, then you know what to do. I think his reactions was out of emotions. Yes, he was bitter, which is normal for anybody to be that bitter at that time. The number of children who have been burying and the rest, and for him as a priest, is quite unfortunate because he will conduct the funeral service and the rites and the rest. Now, but you see, going beyond what he said, I listened to his podcast, and you know, a lot of people send it to me because they want either my reaction or what I can do to either contact the military and see how they can elevate it, which I did. I did contact the general officer commanding about that. And one thing that stood out is the one, Reverend Dutchmo said he had privileged information from within. And if that information that he had from within had been passed across as quickly as possible to the authorities, it would have worked better than reacting and telling us this information you had. We too also have that there is a complete lack of governance at those levels because it appears to be that the citizens are left on their own. At that level, they have a local government chairman, they have a state governor. Now, there was no place here that Dutchmo even said he contacted the local government chairman. Nor did the local government chairman ever appear during that crisis period, at least to see how he can coordinate with the military authorities and, if need be, talk to the governor, as it were, and then the GOC, from the governor to talk to the GOC. And I asked the GOC, said, did the governor talk to you about those things? And he said no. Because if he had called him that there were attacks going on, which I know he has gotten report through this thing, and if the men on ground had told him this, he would have even made more effort than what his people have this thing, because I'm sure he would have sent reinforcements from his headquarters to even go and reinforce that one based on the weight of what the governor would have told him.
Which is highly expected, because we're going to talk about Mr. Governor shortly. I had a guest yesterday who had an interesting position on the role of sub-regional governments in this particular challenge. But I'm interested in what appears a contradiction of realities. The military says it's making progress, but community leaders claim otherwise. Reverend Dutchmo insists the killings have continued unabated. How do we reconcile these two conflicting narratives?
These two conflicting analyses, if people actually know what their roles are. Okay, it's that if the community people know what their roles are, and if the governors, if there is governance at that level and they know what their roles are to the community and how they link up with the national security architecture, then you can talk about that. But the reconciliation is that the military, there is no state of emergency declared, you know, in this sort of situation, that you think that the military can take and do all the things that you can do, but there is governance still going on at that level. There's a local government chairman in that local government. There's a state governor in this state who is still in charge of the state. And so at that level, if the community were able to build that capacity to be able to have what it takes to report and do what not, these people move around, they live within. But I tell you, for that incident, you know that something happened. There were killings, there were rustlings of cattle, there were killings. And so if the government had taken proactive measures at that space to start dosing the temperature at that place, then you would have been able to say, you would have been able to nip this thing at the bud. But when you have killings and when you have rustlings, or when you have people's farms have been destroyed and nothing has been done by the government to ameliorate the situation, no intervention by the government, only the security agencies will go and say, look, so this, and they go away. These people are still hurt. They will plan and come back when the security guys are not there and launch retaliatory attacks, reprisals. So you see, there can be no way that you say the communities are complacent. Some of them, they even know those who are perpetrating this. They know them. They even know. The thing is that I told you, criminality as though tribe, no religion. Some of our boys are involved with them, and some of their boys are involved with ours. And they go about carrying all these heinous things. If we sit down properly and pick up these bad guys and go to the root of it, I'm telling you, we will put this thing behind.
It sounds like you're saying
that Plateau is coming on the this thing at this time. We can actually handle this thing. I tell you, we can handle it.
It sounds like